Back. So, are you guys happy? I'm happy. Are you guys happy? I'm happy. We finally got a WandaVision with the stories moving forward. Kind of, I guess. Or at least the characters caught up with the audience. I don't know. But finally something happened. So, as per usual, my first episode of the week, let's break down the newest episode of WandaVision. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
So, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff. I've been trying to, figure out how the hell I'm going to do this thing. Because I have some people who keep asking me, like, what time are you going to do this? So that I can tune in and join you in the live stream. By the way, live stream right now. If you want any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. I'm also streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. Feel free to join me whenever you like. I'm there. And so right now I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going to be the best time to do it, because I'm trying to get into, like a consecutive schedule, So for some reason, keeping things on a schedule is a good thing. So I'm liking this whole keeping Mondays free because I do doubles that day. But for the rest of the week, I think what I'm going to do is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll do 8 p.m. So I'm aiming for 8 p.m. for the live stream. I'm also considering maybe I'll pre-record some stuff and I'll just load it at 8 p.m. so I won't do live stream every day. I don't know. I'm considering. Let me know what you think. Like I said, comments, questions, suggestions, or comment in this video, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. It really helps me out before I forget that. Yeah, so let me know there or message me, like I said, at Dario the Show on Instagram, because I need to figure out what's the best way to do this. Is it better to do it earlier? Is 8 too late? Maybe 7 would be better. Maybe 9. I don't know. Is the live stream even that worth it? I think it is, because honestly, it keeps me sharper, and by doing this live, it saves me a lot of time. But sometimes I will have to pre-edit stuff. I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. And so, well, we'll see. But like I said, message me and I'll work it out. But right now, let's go into the episode, because like I said, we finally got a good well, not a good. I think all the other episodes have been good, but finally the story moved forward, which is something that had really been stressing me out. If you've listened to the previous reviews that I've done for this show, I was getting stressed out. Like, I was ready for the story to begin a while ago. I did not understand what they were waiting for. I still kind of don't understand what the hell they were waiting for, but let's try to figure it out. Like I said, this is not going to be like a normal review. Well, this episode I will go like bit by bit. I'll jump a bunch of stuff because this one actually we had a little bit of story, but I won't go as deep as I do in other reviews. I won't do like a fun fact. And I'm very happy that I have not done fun facts for this particular show, because I think it would have been some spoilers. And Jess Durman, thank you for joining me, and I hope you like the review. So I have somebody in the comments saying that they've been looking forward to this review. So let's see how it goes. So episode 4 of WandaVision. I gotta tell you right off the bat, I'm a little bit concerned over the title of the episode. If I'm not mistaken, is We Interrupt This Program. So that's the title of this episode. And the reason why that concerns me, it's because that means that they're probably going to go back to what they were doing before. I'm not happy about that. I kind of like that this episode was really different than all the other ones, but like I said, I could be wrong. And they don't have that many episodes left, so they got to be doing something, right? But all right, okay, let's begin. So this episode begins with something very important that a lot of the movies and a lot of well, not really, because we've only really had one movie, but it's something that hasn't really been touched on yet, and that's the consequences of the people who come back after being Thanos. Now, for those of you who don't remember, in Avengers Infinity War, at the end, Thanos snaps his fingers and disappears half of life on the universe, we assume. We don't, it's not exactly clear. if it's the whole universe or the galaxy or whatever, but I think he just snaps his fingers and disappears half a life. And so this episode begins with a particular character coming back. And here's where we learned who Geraldine is. Now, you might remember her from the previous episode, Geraldine, the neighbor girl. But it turns out that she's actually not Geraldine. Shocker. It's actually, this is the character's name, Monica Rambeau. Now, I know that name sounds familiar. And so, oh, by the way, it's called The Blip, apparently. I prefer Thanos. That just sounds better. It's a verb. And so, but whatever. Okay, let's call it The Blip, after The Blip. By the way, it makes no sense for it to be The Blip because it was a snap, but whatever. Anyway, so, the character Monica Rambeau, for those of you who did not watch Captain Marvel, she actually makes an appearance there. She's the little girl in Captain Marvel. And for those of you who are wondering, how the hell can a little girl be in the MCU, blah, blah, Captain Marvel takes place, I think, in the 90s. So that's why she grew up. She's the daughter of Captain Marvel's best friend when she was a pilot. And so there you go. We finally figure out who the hell this is. So she wakes up from being Thanos, and it turns out that she discovers that, we actually get to see a bit of chaos, because we see the moment that she comes back from being snapped, and we get to see a whole bunch of chaos things. Honestly, this was not enough chaos for me. That should have been wilder of a scene. Like, everybody should have been losing their minds and really confused, and some people should have been crying like, oh my god, you're back. And I don't know, I think that somebody should have appeared right next to somebody else and really freaked them out. I don't know, like, I would have done a little bit more with it, but that's kind of what happened. And so we got to see a little bit of the little folks, the human folk, and how they would have reacted to people suddenly appearing or disappearing from their everyday lives. Anyway, Monica Rambeau returns, and here she finds out that she actually, she was in the hospital because her mom had just come out of surgery for cancer. And here she finds out that her mom, the surgery went well, but she died a year after from cancer. So it's like one of those good news, bad news things, or bad news thing. I don't know. The point is, it was not good news. And her mom, who we knew from Captain Marvel, is dead now. So next thing we learn is, what the hell is Sword? So Sword is, I guess you can't see it here, but let me see if I can just switch it out a little bit. There you go. Whatever. I'll just keep it big. Anyway, I'll read it for you. Sword headquarters, and Sword stands for Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. I'll read that again. Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. Now, what does that mean? A whole bunch of nothing. But whatever. Doesn't matter. Honestly, the letters don't really matter for a whole lot. And apparently, this is a very different Sword than the one from the comics. At least, I'm pretty sure it's very different. But whatever. It doesn't matter. We're sticking only with show stuff. I'm trying to keep it focused here. Anyway, so we figured out what the hell Sword is, right? And it turns out that Monica's mother was the creator or founder of Sword, and she was the director until she passed away. And now the new director is this dude, whose name, honestly, is I don't remember, but we'll just call him the director. And he informs her that she has to go follow up a missing persons case in a little town called Westview. Now, when she shows up in Westview, we get the very first of the returning actors / characters, and that is character Jimmy Woo, FBI agent Jimmy Woo. Now, for those of you who don't remember this guy, he appears, I believe, in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's the second Ant-Man movie. I don't think he appears in the first one, at least not off the top of my head. I remember him very clearly in the second one. So Jimmy Woo, FBI agent, back here. And by the way, there's a lot of people who came back for this one. I believe, a lot of characters, and they're great. Like, secondary characters, they're doing a good job bringing them back. Let's just say that. And I'll mention the other big one that happened. Anyway, here Jimmy Woo informs Agent Rambeau that basically the police here don't know that Westview exists, even though Westview is right behind them. Like, right behind them, and they don't know where it is. So they're trying to figure out, is it like a radios thing? Is it like a mind control thing? They're not exactly sure what's going on, and so they decide to send in a drone, which is actually the reason why they sent her there to begin with, to send a drone. And now you see this little Sword logo on the side of the drone, and you look and you see how it looks like kind of like a tiny helicopter. Well, now it's starting to make a little bit of sense, right? It's starting to make a little sense of, let's say, things are starting to come together for the show, inside the show, and the show outside the show. By the way, let me read this comment real quick. I saw online that when Monica Rambeau crashed through the magnetic field, she went. I'll save. I'll save the comments for the end. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be lost completely. Anyway, so she sends in this drone, and the drone malfunctions and disappears in midair. And so naturally, what she does is she goes in there to touch to see what the hell happened, and she disappears as well. Because that's what smart people do, you know. That's what scientists does. They just go and touch stuff with their bare hands. Anyway, so Monica disappears, the drone disappears, and Jimmy Woo's standing there like, what the fuck happened? So they call in the cavalry. And the cavalry includes bringing a whole bunch of scientists, including one, let me just, I have her name here written down, because to me it's Kat Dennings, but the character's name is Darcy Lewis. Now, Darcy Lewis, you might remember her from the Thor movies, and she was the assistant to Natalie Portman's character. Basically, she's a giant nerd. She's a scientist, astrophysicist, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're basically bringing a whole bunch of scientists to figure out what the fuck is going on with the town of Westview. By the way, her character is also hysterical, so I'm very happy that she's back in the MCU. Anyway, so since, did I say Marcy or Darcy? Damn it, Darcy. Damn. Since, here we see they've already set up like a whole mini base outside of Westview, and Darcy Lewis uses old school equipment, and she figures out that basically there's a TV signal coming, being beamed out of the town. There's a whole bunch of technical mumbo jumbo here that you know how when they say a whole bunch of words that they try to figure out like, oh yeah, that's what that means. Let's say particles from way back in the Big Bang and stuff like that. Doesn't mean anything. Basically, what happened? She detected a TV signal that was coming out of town, and so she used an old school TV to try to figure out what the hell was going on, or at least she's trying to. Anyway, let's continue. See here. All right, so they also at the same time they figured, you know what? Maybe the force field that's covering the town from on the surface, maybe it doesn't go on the ground. So they put a dude in a hazmat suit, and they try to send them underground. So basically through the sewer system into the town. And you see this guy in this suit. Well, now, again, you can start putting another piece together. Let's move on. And like I said, he was going through the sewer systems. Finally, all right, so this is, all right, they're starting to figure out, like, hey, there's something weird on the TV, and what the hell is two Avengers doing on the TV? Now, here's something kind of interesting happens in this little conversation here, and that's that everybody knows who these two are. And I mean, I understand Wanda, but Vision, like they know who Vision is, and not only do they know who Vision is, they know that he was dead. Now I get it. It's the first time that anybody mentions that Vision's actually dead, and she mentions like not blipped, but he was dead. But to me, I mean, how does she know how Vision would look like as human? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Apparently, let's assume these people have a buttload of access to stuff. Let's move on. And so they're trying to figure out what the hell is two Avengers, one that's supposed to be dead, even though he's a robot who was never technically alive, but however, whatever, just technically dead. What are they doing in this town, and why is there a sitcom coming out of this town? Who knows? Next, they start to ask a whole bunch of questions, and these questions are fascinating, by the way. On this board, there's a question here about the scroll, like who could do this? Is it the Skrulls? And that's an interesting question, and I think they're setting something up for the future. I'm pretty sure they're setting something up for the future. For those of you who don't know the Skrulls, go back again to Captain Marvel, which, by the way, Captain Marvel completely ruined the Skrulls, by the way. But yeah, it's a race of shapeshifters, pretty much. And so is the question there that are we seeing a Skrulls sitcom, or are they being controlled by the Skrulls? I don't know, but aliens seems like to be like a fair question to ask. Like, is this aliens? And and in the question here though, things that we don't know is why an hexagonal shape. I want to answer that, but I don't think I should, because I think that the show eventually will. So I'm just gonna skip it. All right, I'm gonna skip it for now. Anyway, moving on. They start slowly doing detective work and figuring out who all the characters in the TV show are, and it turns out that it's mostly citizens from that particular town of Westview. Next, they discover that Monica Rambeau has become an extra on the show, and they decide, you know what? If a signal's coming out, how about if we send like a signal in to one of the radios, like a radio signal, and see if we can get some kind of reaction there. And so that's when they discover that, because they're continuously monitoring the show, they get an image of a helicopter that's in color with a sword logo. And so now, I mean, if you can put two and two together, you send a drone, similar colors, similar logo, and and all of a sudden a helicopter lands in there. I'm hoping I don't have to spell this one out. Basically, the drone got turned into a helicopter because it neutralized it. There you go. There you go. Happy? There you go. Let's move on. Next, Jimmy Woo tries to send a little signal there to Wanda, see if she hears him. And here's something very interesting. On the part we know what happens here. The audience knows exactly what happens here. Wanda hears it, and then this chick cuts her hand, and then all of a sudden things go back to normal per se. Well, she hears Jimmy on the radio. It's like, Wanda, who's doing this? Yo, Wanda, and then things go back to kind of normal, right? But here there's an interesting blip. There's a edit where Wanda barely notices. There's a moment where Wanda barely notices the radio, and then they cut through the scene where the neighbor cuts her hand. So this is interesting because, well, who's editing this, right? Because that's an edit. Now, in radio, we call that a delay, and we have a thing called the dump button. So when you're listening to the radio, you're listening to it, let's say 7 to 8 seconds behind. So if somebody says a cuss word, you press the dump button, and so you're dumping 7 seconds of air, and that way you can avoid putting out the cuss word on the air. It's not a perfect system, and what if somebody cusses 5 seconds afterwards? It could be trouble. But that's basically how that works. That's what a delay. But that's what a delay is. And I'm guessing in live TV they should have something similar. So there was a cut there. We know this is the audience because again we lived through this on episode 2. They did not. And so the question here is the episode being cut by Wanda, or is it being cut by somebody else? That's actually the big question here that we're going to try to figure out eventually. Or I guess that's what the show's going to be trying to figure out eventually. Next, we get to see the dude in the hazmat suit turn into a dude in the bee suit, and since he was going through the sewers, he came out of the sewers, and all of a sudden we got a dude in a bee suit coming out. By the way, followed by bees coming out of the sewers. Again, I don't sure if I have to put 2 and 2 together, but that's exactly. Episode 2, you guys saw this. We talked about this. Like, that's... Are you putting... Is it... Okay. Anyway. I'm just gonna... I can't spell things out for everybody. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, if you can't follow that, I don't know how to help you. Because this episode was specifically designed to explain everything if you've been a little bit lost. Anyway. Moving on. We have this moment where... This is kind of the last moment of the previous episode where Wanda is upset at Monica Rambeau. And we don't know exactly what happens to Monica. The next thing that we see her, she's basically out in the world. And here we had another edit. Again, they're staring at the signal, and for some reason it's Wanda is upset at Monica, and the next cut is the end of the show. So, like I said, we don't know exactly who's editing this. Somebody's editing this fucking show. We don't know who it is, and I believe that's going to be what the next couple of episodes are going to be about. We're assuming every single thing here is being pointed to the direction that it's Wanda, but it's not exactly clear. But I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. So we get to relive this moment, and then it takes us into the scene. So the part that was edited out and that we didn't even see last episode, and that everybody else can't see, we finally get to see it. And here we see Wanda for the first time actually using chaos magic. So you see the red thing? That's kind of how they've been identifying chaos magic so far. So we can see this isn't like the fun TV magic that she does with like a snap or a wink or whatever. This is her actually using her I want to say mutant abilities, but technically she's not a mutant here. So she's actually using chaos magic. I'll just leave it at that. And she uses the chaos magic to send Monica Rambeau flying. And now somebody here in the chat just mentioned that that Monica breaks through 3 walls. And so it means that she's so she technically broke the 4th wall when she breaks out of the TV thing, which I honestly, it's a fun little extra tidbit there if it's true, but also could just be an accident. Anyway, it could be honestly the art people, the design people are really good here. So it could have been one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, break the 4th wall that brings you out of TV, and that's a reference to when a character talks directly to the screen, like I'm talking out to the camera, like right now, I'm breaking the 4th wall. Well, actually, I've always broken the 4th wall because I'm talking to you kind of directly. I've never actually pretended to be a character. Whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, that's a reference from Jess Durman. Appreciate it, and honestly, I hadn't really thought about it. But anyway, let's continue here. Next we got we see her flying. She goes and Wanda uses her chaos magic again very quickly to kind of fix things up. She recovers herself, so she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix everything up here real quick." And then we get to see Monica out. All the agents going out there to check on her. It's like, what the fuck happened? Somebody came out. Whatever. So then we get probably the most interesting part of the show, like honestly, at least to me, and that's Vision. He's coming back to check on Wanda. Like I said, this is a part we saw on the previous episode, except there's one major difference, and that's that Vision's dead. So this is how Vision looks the last time we saw him in one of the Avengers movies. Dead. You see this big giant hole on his head where Infinity Stone used to be? Not there anymore. This is how Thanos left him. So dead, right? We can agree. This is a reanimated corpse. Although I don't know if you can be a corpse if you're a robot, but yeah. Is a robot a reanimated? I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. But basically, it's a reanimated dead Vision. Moving on. And the interesting part to me here is that Wanda's reaction. She did not expect to see him that way. And so the fun part for me here is it that because she used her magic before, she kind of lost control a little bit? Or is it because there was an intruder and she had to kick her out? Or is it kind of like a punishment to be like, hey, play by the rules by somebody else? There's a whole bunch or is it that she simply got distracted? It's like, oh, I got babies here. I had an intruder, and she completely forgot to mask Vision again, because the next time that you see this, it's Vision. It's Vision again, and so he looks normal. He doesn't look dead, and oh, stupid comments. Anyway, so I'll I'll address those in a minute, but Vision, and he's normal again, and he kind of comforts Wanda, and he says something that I also found very interesting. What he says to her is, we can go wherever we want. And Wanda says, no, we can't. This is our home. So I know it sounds like a throwaway line or whatever, but it can lead to so many things. Why can't they leave? Why do they have to be there? Why are they there? So those are a lot of the questions that we kind of still have to figure out on this show. Like, that the show still has to explain. Why are they there? Like, why that town? Why? Where did she get Vision's body? The dude's made of vibranium. Vibranium is very valuable. They had 5 years to mine him, I'm sure, or use the parts for something else, or at least, I'm sure, keep him in a vault. How'd she get the body? Why that town? Why can't they leave? Why are they tied to that specific area? Is it because of her? Did she make a deal with somebody else? Is somebody else keeping them there? Why is there a TV signal being broadcasted out? I mean, if you're Wanda and you want to be left alone in your little town where you can reanimate your dead boyfriend and have zombie robot babies? Is that a thing? Zombie robot twin babies with them? You would think that you don't want to give information to anybody else. You try to block out the rest of the world. You try to block out any, like the police officers, they're like, nope, this town doesn't exist. But there's a TV signal being broadcasted out. Why? And why is it being edited? There's a lot of stuff that still need to be explained, and that's the beauty of a good mystery. You solve a few things, then you're left with more questions. The big thing that we know here is that, all right, Sword is definitely not involved in the, let's say, the creative process of the show. So now we understand that they're actually the detectives. They're the audience. They're trying to figure out this mystery along with us. So they're our homeboys. The other two parties here that have been mentioned on the show happen in the commercials. We have Stark Industries that happened, I believe, in the commercial in the first episode, and we have Hydra, who was mentioned in the commercials of episode 2 and 3. So those three could be participating in this. It could just be that Wanda was given her powers by Hydra. We don't know. It could be that, I don't know, Stark Industries has to do with Vision because Vision technically was created by Stark. We don't know. So it's part of the figure out. Or it could just be all Wanda. And if it's all Wanda, then why broadcast it out like a TV show? Why is it an American sitcom TV show? She's from Sokovia. It doesn't make any sense. And so let's like I said, those are some of the mysteries that have to be figured out. And based on the chat, what's pre-recorded? Me? Are you wondering if I'm pre-recorded, or are you wondering if the show's pre-recorded? I'm sorry, there's a lot of pre-recorded questions on the chat on both YouTube and on Twitch, so I'm trying to figure that out. Anyway, so I got to continue here. Next, we have Monica Rambo, who wakes up outside and she's like, "It's Wanda. It's all Wanda." Which, if you're asking me, it's kind of misdirection because, like I said, it doesn't make sense for it to be all Wanda. It could just be all Wanda because there's certain storylines where it is all Wanda, but the way that the Marvel's been playing things, I think that's misdirection for both Sword and for the audience. But we'll see. And finally, and the final scenes of the show, we get to see the. If you notice, most of the episode, it's a widescreen, but it moved into the square. So this is the part that I think it's a bad sign. I think that the next episode will be another sitcom-y TV show. It's fine. Honestly, I don't mind the sitcom stuff. It's fine, but give us half of the rest of it. Give us half of what the people are doing outside. Half of it be a sitcom. I think that show would have been way better because it dragged. 3 episodes of the way that they did it, it's too much. It's too much. It's too it drags too long. It's stressful for the audience because you want a story. You want something that to move forward to keep you there, and I believe it was too slow. Now, I don't mind usually when things are a slow burn, but this one was let's just say for mysteries it doesn't work that well. Right? Mysteries, they either had to give us a little bit more, or they had to pace things up a little bit because I think it was too slow, and I'm worried that the next one will be another sitcom-y. I don't want that. Honestly, I'd rather keep following the sword agents outside. I think that was way more interesting, but we'll see. Next, I believe yeah, that's it. So that's how the episode ends, and that's how things are looking forward. And honestly, like I said, we're pretty much as confused as we were before, but not as much. We now understand a bunch of stuff that we didn't understand before. We understand, like I said, who is at play. Well, you know what? Let's just say we eliminated suspects. So suspect number 1 was Sword, and so that dude's eliminated. Well, those dudes are eliminated because now we know for sure they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. A part of me wants to eliminate Shield and the Skrulls because, all right, you remember the board where they're wondering if this is the Skrulls doing? Well, unless I'm mistaken, they should have. Well, the last time we saw Nick Fury, he was with the Skrulls in their ship, so they should kind of have contact with Nick Fury or with the Skrulls, and they should be able to ask them very directly, like, "Hey, dudes, are you doing this in our town?" So I want to eliminate them too. I think they're setting up something for sure, but for a second, I considered maybe the possibility of a Skrull being transforming himself into Vision, and that's why Vision is alive. But that seemed a little bit too far-fetched. It would have been really, really deep for the MCU. I don't think the MCU has gone that deep yet, or at least deep into like lore stuff. And so most of the casual fans would have been like, "What the fuck is happening?" So I kind of eliminated those dudes. So Stark Industries doesn't really make much sense either. So honestly, I think this is going to be a Hydra thing. I think this is going to be a way that they're going to bring Hydra back, or I don't know. Or maybe it is all Wanda. Like everything points to it being all Wanda. I'm sorry, I keep saying Wanda. I just don't think it is. There's too much. Maybe I'm an idiot. You know what? Maybe I'm an idiot. There's too much evidence pointing towards Wanda, and then I'm like, nah, it can't be her. it would be too obvious. You know, it would be too simple. Everything points to her, so it can't be her. Maybe, you know what? I should not be a detective. I should not be a cop. I should not be a lawyer. I should not be a judge because maybe I just can't see it. But anyway, that's it. So that's a good place to stop there. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I hope it's not going to be sitcom-y. I hope that from this point forward, we get half and half, or at least, you know what? 3 quarters, 1 quarter. Just give us a little bit more from the outside because it was really interesting. It was really interesting what they were doing outside, and the characters they brought back are great. Jimmy Woo is hysterical. Darcy's hysterical. I've really missed her. So I'm looking forward to the things that they do outside. Reach out to S.H.I.E.L.D. Get Nick Fury in there. Ask him about the scrolls. Bring in an actual superhero. Set up another show. I don't know. But once you know that there's an Avenger in there, you would think that they would reach out to the Avengers, right? They have to. Like, who else? Who? Let's say you're a normal dude and you work. Let's say you're a federal agent and you find out that you're dealing with an Avenger, and that the Avenger is the one that's kind of causing all the mess in your town, in a little tiny town. You would reach out to the Avengers, right? You would reach out to Shield, right? That's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? This is above my pay grade. This is kind of above my level of expertise. So maybe we should get some of the experts in here. So, that's what I would do. Anyway, so that's kind of what I'm expecting. Now let's go through a little bit of the chat here. Amelia Oria. I'm trying to find like comments that are related to, or questions, stuff related. Mob Nasty. Hey, much love from Westside Escondido. Appreciate it, dude. Love you guys out there. West Escondido is far, man. Like I haven't been there in a minute, but thanks for checking out the show. Tree Man, thanks for listening. Tree Man actually called me this morning at the radio station. He said he was gonna listen. He was gonna tune in. Thank you for joining me, Tree Man. Mob P1 Salvador, thanks for joining me too. All the P1s who are listening right now, appreciate it. Like I said, I'm trying to kind of get on a schedule here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm aiming for 8 p.m. for the live stream. Mondays, I'm not always sure if I'm gonna do it, and if I do Monday, I'll probably be pre-recorded. Fridays, I'm not sure yet, because sometimes I leave town. So Fridays and Mondays are a coin toss. Honestly, it depends on work or whether or not I'm gonna stay in town. So, but I'm gonna aim Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for actually being live on let me just show you here, like on YouTube at Super Dario World and on Twitch at Super Dario World. So if you want to join me, if you want to have questions, or if you want to just mess around, that'd be the easiest way for you to find me. For all of you who thought that this was pre-recorded, you can suck it. Nope, all live. It's honestly, it's just because it's easier. It's way easier to do things live, and I've always been of the mentality that if I can edit it, I want to edit it. So let's say I fucked up here, like, oh, I said something stupid there. I always have in the back of my mind, like, I can delete it. I can just delete it and nobody would know. Nobody know what would fuck up. But I think I like fuck ups. All right. I enjoy fuck ups. It's like, haha, idiot. he messed up. Also, I'm from the school of live radio. So if you said it, you said it. Live with it. So don't edit yourself, don't censor yourself, just keep going. Well, in radio you have to censor yourself, but it's easier to just keep going, keep talking. I'm also of the Michael Scott school of thought that sometimes you start a sentence and you're not exactly sure how you're gonna end it. You just hope you find your way somewhere through the middle. That's the way I live my life. And if you start editing stuff, you're like, ah, man, that doesn't make much sense. I'll cut it out. Fuck that. Too much work, honestly. And it's not me. It's not as fun. It's rather just press live, see what happens. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. And if it's bad, hope you'll make fun of me and hopefully you enjoy it. I might be pissed off, but you'll enjoy it. I don't know. Anyway, continuing. I accept the apologies. It's fine. 6 emojis. 4. Mob Nasty, thank you for having my back, for believing that I'm real. I'm a real boy. View WSG times 3. What? I don't know what that is. Remember me when you're famous. I will remember all you guys. Or you dudes better come with me. All right. Shut up. Like, come on. Like if you're telling me that if I actually make it, and this actually works out, because by the way, the numbers are doing really well for the podcast. Now I'm trying to make this channel work and start to grow little by little. You're telling me that you're just gonna dump me? You're gonna be like, oh man, no. Now people like Dario, so screw that. No, screw you guys. No, you have to stick with me. Anyway. Emilio Orias, this is set up for the Winter Soldier. I'm not sure. I don't think so, because as far as I know, I believe, well, not as far as I know, I think that the calendar was set up differently. I thought that Winter Soldier and Falcon the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first. So maybe they altered some stuff. Maybe WandaVision is so far apart from all the other Disney Plus TV shows that it's fine. I don't know, but I thought that Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier were supposed to come out first. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because the calendar's been a mess for a really long time. Like 2020 really, really screwed everything up. But I believe that. I don't think like I would love to see Bucky in there. He's this is way out of the Falcons' pay grade and way out of Winter Soldier's pay grade. You're dealing with Wanda. That's a fucking Omega. She's reanimated Vision, all right? You guys need to understand this. Vision was powered by an Infinity Stone, and she reanimated him. So technically, she's replacing an Infinity Stone. That's how powerful she is. So I don't see Bucky and his little gun or Falcon and his stupid little metal wings doing something here. Like this is way above their pave grade. If you bring in the Hulk, maybe. If you bring in Captain Marvel, maybe. You need a heavyweight here. Maybe Ant-Man. I'm kidding. Anyway, so I think that's it. That's a good place to stop. I you know what? Just Ant-Man would not do shit. All right, I love Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man, but I don't think he would be, again, above their pay grades. But that's it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. Like I said, at least Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm aiming. Not Monday. Damn it, I fucked up. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm aiming for 8 p.m. Monday and Friday are wild cards. But that's it for today. Like, subscribe. That really helps out. Helps out the channel. I'm trying to make it grow. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.